in Tāmaki Makaurau with
Will from SACHI.
Yes.
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Yeah, we're so excited to be here chatting with you today.
Appreciate it.
We do a segment on each of our podcast episodes called Song of the Week, where we say a song that we've been loving and listening to this week and why we've been enjoying it. So, Will, what is your Song of the Week?
My song of the week is by these UK guys. It's called Make Believe by Luke Dean and Omar Plus, and they're kind of like the dudes that are really like leading the charge of this like new kind of house music wave in the UK. I got put onto them when I was in Ibiza just recently, and they're like, it was like the main thing that everyone was talking about in Ibiza. These guys like Luke Dean, Max Dean, and this guy called Omar Plus, and it's just like combining like R&B vocals with like house music in like a really interesting, cool way that I hadn't really heard before. So yeah. I'll send you a link so you're not trying to like decode that.
Please, that sounds amazing and right up probably Emmy's alley, I think.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
What's your Song of the Week, Emmy?
My song of the week is Mad by Renee Rapp.
Oh, cool.
That song is just like really fun to sing. So,
oh, nice.
I'm like a singer, but just like bouncing it out at home.
That's fun.
Yeah, and she's just like an amazing singer.
Yeah.
An amazing performer.
Her voice is incredible. I watched her like a cappella singing Shy from her new album. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
We randomly went on a camping trip with Renee Rapp and last year.
Sorry?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, one of our mates throws this like really small, it's like hardly a festival, but there's probably like 50 to 100 people, and Renee Rapp was there. She was really lovely.
Yeah. So nice.
Yeah. In the desert in America. Yeah, really rad. I didn't even know who she was. And we were DJing and then there was like this photo and I was showing her and she was like, oh, that's Renee Rapp, like watching you guys DJ. We're like, I didn't even know that.
You're like, I had no idea who she was, and now she's huge.
Now she's massive, yeah. And she was like really lovely. Like, really nice. Anyway, that's my Renee. Sorry to name drop.
Amazing. I love that name. Always name drop. Never apologise for name dropping. Amazing. I love
What's your song of the week, girl?
Oh Baby by LCD Sound System.
Oh, sick. Cool.
I put it on Monday night, and I was literally like, this in my car.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
You can't go wrong with LCD Sound System.
Can't go wrong.
You just can't.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Could you share a bit about your music journey? How you kind of got into things, how you met Nick, the other half of SACHI, and how SACHI came about?
Yeah, so we started off playing in bands at Pōneke Primary School when we were really, really young. And we had a really influential band mentor that basically showed us how to put together a band and like how to play covers of songs, and that's how we kind of started. And we sort of came up through that, and so we played in a band called Workbench from when we were in primary school up until we were probably maybe 13, 14 years old. I played the drums, Nick sang and played the guitar, and then there was two other members, and then one of the other members moved overseas, and the other one moved to Greenhithe, which is, if you're from Auckland, is like ages away. So we're like, okay, well, what are we going to do? We want to keep making music. How do we keep making music without these band members? So then we started doing a little bit of looking into like production and this software called, there was like GarageBand at the time, which was like the really basic one. And then we moved into Logic, and then we moved into Ableton, which is the software that we use now. So we basically just taught ourselves how to produce from YouTube tutorials, and I'm trying to think what else. It must have been like blogs or something back in the day. This is, 13, 14 years ago. And then, I remember we set up like Nick's parents' like home hi-fi, like the TV like speakers. We set them up in his bedroom, and then we started making music, started experimenting with that stuff. And then at that time, it was similar to like when Disclosure and Flume were starting to put out music. And Flume at the time was this like young guy from Sydney, like he wasn't that different to us. And we were like, okay, if this guy from Manly, Sydney, who's like a couple years older than us can do this, like we can totally do this. So
hard out.
Yeah, and then we just started basically just making music a lot, and then we started throwing like events with our friends that were in other bands, and I feel like that was like a really pinnacle moment for us. Was like we started throwing these little underage parties with our mates, and we'd like bring in our mates who were in bands, and our mate who had a sound system, and a mate who had some lights, and then kind of throw them all together at the Mount Eden Scout Hall. And then we just started like that, and then we eventually started getting booked in clubs, and that kind of just kept on building as we were releasing music at the same time. And then it was kind of just like this perfect storm that got us in enough doors, and then the kind of rest of the is history. I mean, obviously there's lots of more that's gone into it, but that was the nucleus of it all.
How did you kind of go from like band to like electronic music?
Well, originally it was more bandy, the music, and then we were like kind of thinking about what stuff would work in the live show and like the DJs that were playing. Well, okay, we kind of need to like follow the structure of what like house music and all this type of stuff. So yeah, and then I think we were just listening to a lot of dance music at the time, and it was like that age where we were like 17, 18. We started going to gigs and like started going to festivals, and we were like, wow, what's this music? Like, this is crazy. And it was like Boiler Room was just starting off, so it was the first time that we were able to see like what DJs were playing from overseas and stuff like on YouTube, and we're like, wow, this is crazy. So let's get on this stuff.
Yeah, that's so.
And at the time, there wasn't really that many people in the. There was a lot of people making drum and bass, and drum and bass has always been big in New Zealand, like Shapeshifter and stuff like that. But there wasn't really people making like house music or dance music, especially in the sort of like pop realm at that time. So we're kind of like, let's just give this a go. Yeah.
How did you guys decide to create the name SACHI? Like, where did it come from?
Yeah, we basically didn't. We basically just wanted something that was easy to say and looked easy to write, and something that people could like. It kind of wouldn't matter what language they spoke, would be a word that they would kind of understand. And it was just kind of like a word that it just looked nice, and it was like had the right amount of syllables, and we felt that there was kind of, we didn't want to be like DJ something or the somethings or anything like that. So yeah, it was basically more of just like a decision of like what would be good from a branding perspective, and that was kind of how we decided on SACHI. Yeah.
I love that. That's so nice.
That is really cool. Yeah, really interesting. So you've got your Wellington and Auckland tour this week. How did that tour come about?
Dylan, who's a promoter at Live Nation, booked us for one of our first shows, which was opening for an Australian artist called Hayden James, if you guys know Hayden James, back in 2015 at Cassette 9. So we've just been friends since that, and then he books the Live Nation team run Rhythm and Vines as well, so we played Rhythm and Vines beginning of this year, and then we just wanted to do our own shows and also be able to kind of build a lineup and curate a lineup of like upcoming DJs and stuff to give them a platform, because that's definitely what helped us coming up. And it's also just fun to just play shows in New Zealand. We haven't done it in a couple of years, so
yeah, that's cool that you said that, because we are big fans of helping with exposure with local artists. And obviously you guys did a competition on Instagram to get local DJs to open up for your shows. How did you guys decide to kind of come together and be like, this is what we want to do for these shows, like this is our vision?
I think like a lot of the time I feel like you can almost be kind of detached on what's like happening and like who's like kind of bubbling away in New Zealand, and I feel like doing that is like the best way to get exposed to like people that you might have not known of before. And through doing that, like even the ones that we didn't pick, we were exposed to so many like cool young people making dance music in New Zealand. They were like, far out, didn't even know these people. And now with like TikTok and Instagram, it's so much easier for them to like show their music off. But I think it's just always important to give back, because we've like received so much love and we've been put on by so many other artists and had amazing support opportunities. I think it's always important to like return that favor back to like the next generation of people. So
totally.
And we know like how even like us as quote unquote established artists are trying to get opportunities by bigger artists overseas to come up to be on their shows and their tours. So it's like, as long as you can keep repaying the favor, it like
it'll come back.
Feeds back into the ecosystem of it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so lovely, and it's so cool that you guys did that. Like you say, the exposure it gives to people, and there is this huge, massive, like underground almost crowd of people creating house music.
It's great.
It's incredible in New Zealand.
Oh
really.
yeah. And Kiwi artists, like we have such amazing talent.
Yeah.
Like it's actually crazy. So it's so awesome. We love that.
So cool. So you guys have performed in front of like audiences of thousands before. Do you have an onstage persona that you kind of switch into? How do you manage the like nerves and feelings and emotions behind that?
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Like even we had a bunch of friends who hadn't seen us live who were their friends from America, and they came and watched us play at R&V, and like obviously they know who we are day to day, and then I think for them to see us go and then play that show and then go and hang out with them, they were just like, what the fuck? Like, who was that? Who was that person on stage?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, I think like every time as I've got older, which is interesting, every time we get to go on stage in front of a crowd like that, I'm like, I always soak it in, because I just like, I feel like I've become more grateful of that as I've gotten older, because a lot of my mates work like shitty jobs that they hate, and you know, like, God bless them, but like, it's the reality of, like, you know, people have to make a living, and I think if I'm able to make a living by doing something like that, like, it's just the most, you have to be grateful. And I think, like, we've been able to do it for 10 plus years now, so like every time we get out there, I try to soak it in, like, as if it was all going to go tomorrow. I could have just been like soaked in that last moment, and also just like seeing everyone's faces and having a good time. And I remember, like, when we were growing up, like, how important those shows were when we were in the crowds, and when we were 17, 18 watching Flume play, and like how memorable those moments were with our mates and all that stuff. So how do I manage all the emotions and stuff? I think, like, we've been doing it for long enough that part, I still definitely get nervous, but I think you just got to channel that all into like gratitude and like just enjoy the moment. Don't let your nerves like take away from what you're actually doing, which is throwing a massive party essentially. And yeah, it's great.
That is such a cool answer. You seem so grateful and like humbled, I guess, to be doing it.
Totally,
it's so beautiful. Yeah. And like you say, you guys are creating memories for, you know, this massive audience. Everyone. Yeah, and it is beautiful. Like, music does hold memories, and going to see live music with your mates, you can't beat that. You know, being in an amazing crowd, watching someone on stage, when they're in their element, you're in your element, it's just like, you're like, life's beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. It's so fun. Yeah, very lucky.
Yeah, amazing.
So good. I was watching a video of you guys performing at Tomorrowland. It was really cute, and you guys looked like super happy, grateful. And
I cried at the end.
I was like, oh my god, stop! This is so cute. I was almost crying.
It was a weird moment because Dan, who's been our manager for like as long as we've been doing this for, was there as well, and I don't even know what it was like, because obviously, like, we'd watched all the after movies of Tomorrowland, and it'd always been like a goal of ours to play that festival. And leading up to it, you are trapped in that kind of like, kind of nervy feeling. And then once it was done, I was just like, I think I was probably just more relieved, like, oh my God, it's like over, everything went great, like, we're here with all our like family and friends and stuff. So I think I was just like overcome with emotion. But also it's like, I think that moment there was kind of like, if we could like envision that from when we were kids and then did it, I'm like, you can kind of pretty much do anything you want in life. Like,
totally.
The message of all that.
Yeah, totally. It's amazing. It must have been a massive relief afterwards, and like this huge high, and then just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah, it was so
amazing.
Cool. It was so cool. Yeah, very lucky.
Do you have any like pre-gig rituals or like anything that gets you in the zone mentally or creatively, or like anything that you and Nick do together?
We normally do a kiss on the lips. That's something that we've always done, and it always catches like kind of the blokes backstage a little off guard sometimes. As like a kind of tradition we always just like have done. I don't know, we do a shot. We might do a shot before we go on of like a really cheap, nasty vodka to sort of just like snap us back into what we're doing. But I mean, there's no like sort of like ceremonies beforehand. But I don't know, we just try to just like say, just go have fun and enjoy yourself. And
I love that, a kiss on the lips.
Yeah, kiss on the lips.
It's
it's quite funny.
Yeah,
except
that's cool.
Nick's got a bit of a shoddy immune system, so sometimes we don't do it.
I
think
that's a little cheek. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. What is next for SACHI?
There's kind of two avenues to answer that. There's like the holistic approach, and then there's the kind of like actual approach. But on the actual approach, it's just a lot more music. I think we're kind of moving everything into a place that's like a lot more DJ friendly musically, and making stuff that's a lot more focused on the live show and that world of things. And then on the holistic side, I think it's just like do what we've done better and bigger than we've done it before, and try to grow it and try to really touch new parts of the world that we haven't been, and just try to reinvent things and keep things moving. I think after doing it for so long, you just got to always have the freshest, newest ideas. So that's what we kind of really focus on at the moment. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, thanks so much for chatting with us today. We really appreciate your time. It's been so great to get to know you more, and one day we'll meet Nick.
Yes, Well, he's probably on a flight from Barcelona at the moment. So he gets in tomorrow morning.
Oh my gosh, he's going to be exhausted.
He's going to be fucked. But,
thank you again.
Awesome. So nice to meet you guys. Yeah, and great work on all this, and it's so important for the music scene in New Zealand. So shout out to you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We'll pop all of SACHI's details down below for you guys to check out as well. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.